Yes, like you're saying, many people go out to camp after they get a job and
Yeah.
work remotely. So it's often 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. You're out at camp, kitchens, people
Yeah.
feeding you. You're essentially on the team that make sure that the facility is running properly. If
Yeah,
there's an
exactly.
alarm, you make sure that it's not serious, and if it's serious, you fix it. If there's an emergency, you jump on it right away. In
Yeah,
these
exactly.
large processing plants and energy plants, places where power engineers work, um, there's always a team watching this equipment because number one, it's very expensive. It's dangerous if something goes wrong, and you need professionals there to make sure it's all going right. Um,
Yeah.
what this means, though, and why a lot of people are drawn to power engineering is you have to know the system incredibly well so that if there is a catastrophe, you can jump on it. But at the same time, oftentimes the system's going quite smoothly. So your day to day grind is pretty chill. You get to spend time with your coworkers, you do little maintenance jobs, you do little things to keep the plant busy, but it's not incredibly stressful. It's more like very chill the majority of the time and very, very stressful infrequently.
Yeah, it's like yeah, but most of the time it's pretty relaxed, and then when stuff does start hitting the fan, it's like, okay, here you go. This is kind of why we're here, and then you sort it all out, and then it kind of goes back to being just like steady, steady. But it's just very just like it just runs like the facilities run like besides like turnarounds like for maintenance and things, they just run like 24/7, 365. They're always just running. There's little blips and stuff, but for the most part, places just run. And they run because people are looking after them and whatnot. But then there's the odd time where something happens and it stops running, and then you need to fix it. And oftentimes when things stop running in like everything's going along smooth and then something happens, it's quite a big shakeup in the system. So it like takes quite a while to get it back to being straight again versus like little blips or whatever when the bigger stuff kind of is going down.
Bro, what do you think of the camp lifestyle?
I think camp's sick, but also like it's not. I don't know. Camp is cool if you're like obviously single. Being in camp has its pros and cons. Um, I don't know. I'd say camp is cool because you can, like for me, I live in Vancouver. I work in Northern BC and live in Vancouver, so I can. The being in camp is nice because I don't have to live. I can live where I want to live. I don't have to live um, up north. And for some guys, they love living up north. So for them, being in camp is kind of annoying to them because they'd rather just like go to their house every night,
Yeah, so
and that
yeah.
kind of thing. And
So
then
where do
and
you
then
work, bro?
I work outside of Fort St. John.
Yeah.
So I work like I don't know, like in between Fort St. John and Fort Nelson. There's quite a bit of activity out there, and quite a few people make a good living in that area for sure. But the camp thing is I don't know. I think it's cool, but then at the same time, it's like when you're gone, you're like fully 100% gone. Like it's not like if you were home every night and then you were, oh okay, oh yeah, I'll go for dinner with you guys, or oh I'll go do this, or oh, you're playing on like a slow pitch team or whatever. It's like when you're gone, you're 100% gone. But you get the it's a bit of sacrifice to be like, okay, well then one day's off. I'm also not here, so I'm where I'd like to be. Camp jobs are usually longer stretches of work, like either a week on, off, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So you do get um, decent amounts of days off in between your regular work schedule, which obviously is a big attraction for guys. Um, but also then like uh, I don't know, it's kind of tough. Like if you're moved to a new town or a new city and then you're in camp, like trying to meet people and make friends and stuff is it's not super hard because obviously you get your days off, but it's like, oh shit, like now, oh no, I'm actually going to work for 2 weeks. I'll see you guys. And then like 2 weeks to lots of people, like that's quite a few days to be away from people. So there's kind of like that setback, but then like, this is a complete opposite. Like it's just like literally one extreme or the other, and there's no really in between. So it's either like you're around all the time or you're not around. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of nice though too. I like the separation between home and work. Like you don't really I mean, obviously you have to deal with some things while you're away, but for the most part, like, oh, I'm at work, and for this week of work, I'm gonna go to the, like, obviously work, and then try and eat good, work out, exercise, maybe like catch up on some things, like after work or whatever, you can get on the computer and maybe catch up on some things you need to catch up on, or if you're working on something else, you can kind of do that as well. Same thing if you're, I mean, before your night shift, you're usually up for a little while, so you can make some calls, call people. Because I find when I'm on days off, I feel more. I'm like, oh, I got to be doing stuff, like I don't want to be just like sitting around. So it is kind of a nice. You're not just stuck out there, and then you come home and you're like, oh, I got all these things to catch up on. You've been able to kind of stay on top of it while you're at work, and then you come home and everything's kind of all your ducks in a row, which is, I kind of like that too.
There is something about that, having separation from home and work. I know when I was going out at the hydroelectric plant out into the Yukon, it is nice just being like, yeah, I'm out here at work. This is all I have to focus on now.
Yeah.
And I don't have distractions. But that prolonged like distance from home for a couple weeks, does start throwing wrenches into things too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it'll definitely it's a tough one too for other people to kind of wrap their head around. They're like, oh, okay, you're gone. Like, I guess you're just gone.